So this is part 2. So what I was saying is that if you go into my unit plan model, you'll see that towards the middle there was a section which is services action, which is actually normally optional, but here in the learning engagement 4 we are trying to find ideas for that. So the idea is that it's either a class action, as I said, or a student initiated action that the students could do following the unit plan. There are 4 types of action. Normally direct service, where they are directly involved with other people, environment, and animals, and indirect service, which is a possibility, and also research and advocacy, which is pretty linked, because sometimes we do research, as in my example, when the students collected data about wasting water and then trying to share a point of view after that in order to encourage everyone to preserve water. So this is 4 types of action, and the learning outcomes are here. So you have to choose at least 1 learning outcomes for your activity. So the idea, once again, of that is to help my teachers actually at my school in order for it to be to simplify the elaboration of the unit plans. So let's go then to the 5th learning engagement activity. It's pretty much the same idea. It is the idea of using your unit plan and trying to say what other subjects could be used, with the same statement of inquiry, actually, in order to develop an interdisciplinary project with that second group, and why. So it's only to try to open our minds to make the unit plan a little bit more open, so you can try to think about that. What I could say as a workshop leader in interdisciplinary teaching and learning is that the criterion B asks to develop a product and to link also in criterion C of the new guide in order to say exactly what we've done in learning engagement 4 is how that product could lead to a service, how the unit actually could lead to services action, either as a class action or then something which can be done later on. So it's the same idea. So if you have a product that you are thinking about making the students do, and also if there is a possibility for services action, then if there is another subject included, then it is a good unit that could become an interdisciplinary unit. Of course, this is not our objective in this workshop. So the idea is just to open our mind and say, well, perhaps the same global context, the same subject could be used with another unit, with another subject. So that completes actually module 2. Now I want to just tell you about virtual meetings that I'm doing. It's using on the Moodle platform. It is the big blue button actually platform, which is something that I didn't know before I used Moodle. But the idea is that the time here that I've written is not my time, it's Greenwich Mean Time. So depending on where you live, the time is not the same. So I have 2 options in order to cover pretty much the whole planet, in order for everyone to have like an option which makes sense. I know during the weekend, because we all work during the week, so it would be really hard to do elsewise. Here, if you click on it, you'll see that it has not yet started. So for me, it's like at 10 p.m. on Friday, October 15th. But for you, it's probably on October 16th for most of you. So if you click on the link here, you'll come up to a page, and then if you would say, for instance, that you would live in Tokyo, Japan, then you will see that for you it's Saturday, the 16th at 11. So, depending on where you live, you can just like type in your city, find your time zone, and then you see at what time these meetings are, and there is going to be a button appearing. Sometimes you have to refresh the page in order to see that button when the conference starts, and then you can click, and you have to authorize audio and the mic also to talk, and video, in order for us to see each other. It's not mandatory because we all have life and sometimes it's just impossible to do it. I'll try to do meetings every week. So if you have any questions, some things which might not be exactly covered also during the workshop, it's something that you can just come and ask and share your concerns and ask questions during these meetings. So I'll be glad to see you if you are available. So to wrap up, just summarize, when we are creating a unit plan, first thing that we want to do is to try to find the context, something which is authentic. We'll talk in module 3 about the authentic task. So we're leading to that. So we try to find the context which is really linked to real life, something which makes sense for the students. And using that context, we try to identify concepts which are linked to which subject. So if we have to try to find relationships and represent relationships, for instance, if we have to generalize things, so you'll see that the global context in mathematics really makes sense because they generalize what we have to do and to show the students to do. And sometimes what you will see when you will do the conceptual understanding is that, as I've said, throughout the years in mathematics, we will explore relationships between quantities. So that's something which is often used, and we will have to use logic in order to perhaps prove things, in order to generalize a relationship. So there are many things that you'll see that you will be able to do with that. So we will focus on that. I'll comment a lot on that. And services action, try to find ideas in order to make your unit plan even more authentic, because adding services action in a unit makes it more authentic. And also for the interdisciplinary subject is the same thing. In real life, things are not focused only on one subject. The real life problems often involve many subjects. So you'll see that something which is like everywhere within module 2 is to try to be more authentic in your unit. And once we have that idea, and once we will have developed an idea for our assessment, then everything else will be to think about activities that will lead to that and will be able to be transferred in our final summative task. So that's the idea. So thanks for listening. I know it was a little bit long, but it's a module which is really important when we build. Once again, if the video or the resource that you have selected in Learning Engagement 1 is not linked to the activity that you really want to do in your class, then don't use it. Just Learning Engagement 3, really think about, you want to build a unit on the topic, and then you try to do that as authentic as possible. If you have not found any resource yet, you will have the chance to explore it later. So thanks again, and have a good week.